few updates have occurred since I last did a video of the canopy. So I thought I'd just give you a walk around and introduce you to those things that have changed. The first thing is the V-block in the back has changed. Nothing on the top, but the quick disconnect up front has changed as well. Let's talk about the basic canopy. The basic canopy includes the front down rods, and I've pretty much decided to leave this in an adjustable form. You see this sleeve here has indexing holes in it, and there's a pin beneath this sleeve so that this lower part of the rod can telescope up into here, and it gives the owner a lot of flexibility on what they might want to do, not only on their first trike, but perhaps this canopy will be fitted to a second trike as well, so this can be adjusted. Basic canopy, of course, will not include lights or anything attached to the accessory bar, front accessory bar, nor will it include any of the Velcro patches that you see or the gear rack. I'll get to that in a minute. But it does include this V-block in the back. Now the V-block essentially is the control device that gives you a lot of the shape of the canopy. The V-block includes the tightening screws here to secure the rods. There'll be some, this rod has a stiffener on it. That's going to depend on your setup, and I'll have to individually work with each owner to determine the wall thickness of this stiffener and also the length. But you'll notice there's also a couple of screws here, thumb screws, that tighten against what could be determined to be a flagpole or rods for a light bar. If I walk around to this side, give you another view. The rods can be as long as you want them to be. When the thumb screw is loosened, the rod can be either removed or pushed right out the bottom, depending on what height you want. And of course those rods can be 6 feet tall, I suppose. So your basic canopy includes the V-block. It does not include any of the accessories that you see here. I mean, this little light accessory bar, nor flag poles. But it does include the V-block, the canopy, and the fabric, the front down tubes. The Velcro patch option includes enough patches for the visors, and 4 underneath. There's a Velcro patch for the front and the rear, and also directly underneath the canopy beneath this one is a patch for this location. Those will be put on after the canopy has been delivered to you and after the fabric has been stretched by having the front and rear accessory bars on. I'm finding that this particular one is rather optional because quite a number of people are wanting to use this area of the canopy for artistic decoration, vinyl decals and so forth. So that's left up to the customer where they want to put things, but you will need them for the visor attachment on both sides, and the rest are pretty much optional. The canopy fabric will be marked where they go. The next selection you'll have to make is whether or not to go ahead and include the rubber fittings that are up here. The fittings really need to be put on at the time the fabric is being put over the rods, because they're devilish to have to take the fabric completely off and put the fittings back on. So a fittings package would include all of the fittings that are necessary up at the top. Whether or not you're going to use them for the other accessories or not is kind of beside the point, but I wanted to make it available to go ahead and put those fittings on up front, or now. The visor package, when it's unhooked here, the visor package is controlled back here with this little knob. I say the visor package, the visor itself. So with the visor package, you would get a pair of visors, or right and left, the rods, and so forth. This rubber fitting is part of the fitting package. Again, you can have this on the canopy without having the rods or the visors. In fact, these can very easily be removed or even added later. So you have a pair of visors available. This little patch on the visor is for when the visor is secured, and this little stay will help keep it pinned up and out of the way. Now also, with the visor package, you'll need to have the Teeter Rod, which again will fit into these rubber fittings that you've already put on if you have the fittings package, and it would include the rod here. So that rod then allows you to have these little retainer straps on there. So the Teeter Rod is the Teeter Rod package would include that rod. Your gear rack package would have both cross tubes and the 3 tubes up the top, plus all these fittings. These rubber fittings will come with the gear rack package and not with the rubber fitting package, which is out here on the outboard side rails. So that's pretty much your basic package. What is standard on the bottom of these the front down rods is the snap hook. Now attached to this particular snap hook is a bung that would go inside your derailleur tube. So that will be decided on each individual basis whether or not we should go to an expandable bung on the bottom of this hook. This is a snap hook, and I'll let that drop. So this would be in place of this quick disconnect. The options on what it connects to would be either the bung or this vinyl sleeve that has a built-in eye to it. This would fit over your tube as opposed to the rubber bung, which would fit inside the tube, and this has to be sized according to your tube inside diameter. We can go to this quick disconnect. It simply disconnects and reconnects pretty easily. The nice feature about this particular accessory is that the square shape reduces the likelihood that this will torque sideways. So I'm finding out that this is a nice addition. It's just controlled by a single lever. Disconnects and reconnects. There's 2 parts to the quick disconnect. Part A is the part that fits on your derailleur tube. That would need also the bung without the eye. It would be just the bung properly fitted to the tube on your trike, and this part A of the quick disconnect. Part B would be the part that fits on this portion of your front down rod assembly. Now I've made the two separately because if you have one canopy with a quick disconnect. But several trikes, you may want this feature on the different trikes, and the canopy then would fit whichever trike you chose to put the canopy on at the time. So those are different options. The rear attachment for the V-block is really a custom accessory, and it's going to depend entirely on what gear, on what luggage rack you have, what pannier rack you have. And there's going to be as many different styles of adapter here as there will be luggage racks. This is something I'll have to custom make unless you feel comfortable in making something yourself. But they get complicated, such as this one here, to quite simple. It's easiest if this rear stay on the luggage rack is vertical. It just simplifies the attachment process. This one has a vertical assembly on it, but it's further forward than the rear of the luggage rack. So this one will fit entirely different on a different luggage rack. This one here is for a rack time rack. One of the accessories is this document sleeve, 8.5 by 11. It's a heavy wall vinyl. It opens on the end. It can be cut down to a different size. It'll come with a patch of Velcro, so that you're welcome to put the Velcro any way you see fit. But it's intended to hold a document or documents and attach up underneath the canopy on the Velcro patch up in there. So I made them available simply because they're pretty hard to find in that size. Another option are these mirrors. They're sold individually. They are, you can use right or left. It's exactly the same mirror. There's a lot of adjustment flexibility in this particular mirror. It's an axiom. You can see it, it swivels here at this point. It swivels back here at this point. I've got it locked so tight it's not going to swivel, but it swivels at this joint, and also, of course, there's another joint back here, as well as the rubber belt that would go around your accessory bar. So it's quite a nice mirror, very lightweight. And although some have hinted to me that perhaps this particular rivet here is not as tight as it should be, what I have found, if you just take some blue thread seas and drop it in between those plastic parts and work that back and forth, it seems to stay put. So nice, a nice mirror. It is an option, and if you want mirrors like this, you need to order a pair. I showed you this light bar a while ago. It does have the set screws on both sides so that you can lock that down wherever you'd like to have that on your rod. It's pretty convenient to mount lights to it. The wrench that fits the entire canopy, both on the end of your accessory bars, the light bar, and the screw fastening against the fiberglass rod here, the wrench to that is underneath here. It's in a little socket by itself. It's a friction fit. If I can pull it out here. So this wrench comes with the canopy. It's part of the V-block, and it will fit. It fits all of your screws, your accessory bars, light bar. Another option is fiberglass rod, sold by foot. It's black, And before I ship it, I bevel the edges, the ends, and paint them so that there's less likelihood of the glass fibers escaping. And the last option would be for me to assemble the top, and I will do so at your request, but I will not ship it assembled for fear that it would likely get damaged in transit if a box gets probed. Well, it's Easter weekend and I didn't have any color to add to the video, except for some leaves.